Tyler from LUCIDPIXUL, and welcome to my buyer's guide and comparison between the XP Pen Artist Pro 19 Gen 2, you can check out my full review over here, and the direct competitor, the HUION Kamvas Pro 19. So let's get into it and see how they stack up in terms of build quality, screen, performance, stylus features, price, and more. First up, let's talk about build quality and design. Both the XP Pen Artist Pro 19 Gen 2 and the HUION Kamvas Pro 19 feel solid and durable. Both pen displays have sleek, minimalist designs, although I'd describe the XP Pen as having a smoother, rounded design versus HUION's more rigid, square-edged design. Both pen displays come with wing-shaped retractable legs that offer a subtle drawing angle, although I'd say that the build quality on the HUION legs feel more rigid and robust. In fact, I feel that the HUION has an overall more durable design, although that might be more due to the square edges and boxier design than the actual durability compared to the XP Pen. This might not actually reflect long-term durability. Although the retractable legs are convenient for long-term usage, I don't feel that the angle is adequate ergonomically. That said, both the XP Pen and HUION offer optional, fully adjustable desktop stands that connect to their respective pen displays using the VESA screws in the back. I easily swapped the ST100A from the HUION to the XP Pen, and as expected, it worked perfectly fine either way. Going back to the HUION, nestled into the right side indentation are two USB-C ports that you'll need to connect the pen display to your computer, as well as a power outlet. You'll notice a 3.5mm headphone jack there as well, should you need one. In comparison, XP Pen's USB-C ports are located at the top of the display, and for the sake of a cleaner looking setup, they provide two angled USB-C cables in the box. As I mentioned in my XP Pen Artist Pro 19 Gen 2 review, 19 inches hits the top limit of portability. In addition, both tablets come with Bluetooth Express key remotes, which we'll get to in a minute. In terms of overall design, I feel they've both done a fantastic job, and I'm confident that opinions will vary very evenly depending on everyone's personal tastes. Now, let's discuss screen quality, which is crucial for any artist. Both displays feature 4K 19-inch fully laminated screens, so there's minimal parallax when drawing. Although they boast very similar specs, there are some minor differences in color accuracy. If we compare color specifications side by side, both brands boast 96% Adobe RGB and 98% Display P3. The XP Pen claims 99.8% sRGB versus HUION's 99% sRGB. That said, I did feel that HUION's color uniformity into the edges was slightly better, and the overall image did feel a bit sharper, particularly when doing fine details and reading text. Both pen displays have matte coatings, slightly softening the image quality, although perhaps a tiny bit more on the XP Pen. Another more important factor to take into consideration is choice of resolutions when plugged into the computer. Although perhaps this could be resolved with a simple firmware update, I don't know, the HUION did present several more resolution options between 1440p and 4K. This matters, because this means that you can more finely tailor the size of your interface to find the best balance between text readability and screen real estate when drawing. Next, let's talk about pen design and performance. Both the XP Pen Artist Pro 19 Gen 2 and HUION Kamvas Pro 19 are shipped with two choices of stylus, a standard sized and a thinner one. They also come with their own respective, well-designed pen cases for storage and transportation. Both cases are very similar. Both the HUION and XP Pen have indented or concave lids for laying your pen on top. HUION has two pen slots for vertical storage versus XP Pen's single slot inside the case. The nib removers are in different locations, but otherwise, you're getting very similar experiences. When it comes to the overall build quality and feel of the pens, I found that the weight, grip, and feel in the hand was slightly more comfortable with the XP Pen stylus, where the HUION felt a bit lighter in the hand and slightly less grippy. Grippiness increases your feeling of control when drawing, so I prefer the grippier feel, but after a few minutes of use, you adapt to it and get used to it right away. A more significant difference is their action buttons. XP Pen has 2 action buttons and a roller button for adjusting things like brush size or zoom. HUION's stylus has 2 standard buttons and a third button that can be set as a third action button or an express menu button. You can also set one of XP Pen's buttons as an express menu button, but that limits you to 1 action button, which many might find limiting. In my XP Pen Artist Pro 19 review, I expressed that, quote, I would have preferred a third button, like Wacom styluses, and that does ring true here. I prefer consolidating most shortcuts and functions to my left hand rather than having it sit idly on the table. So the added roller button feels like too much function for a single finger. I instinctively set all my favorite adjustment layers to the HUION Express key button, like hue and saturation, levels, color balance, etc. Although my personal preference is HUION's implementation of a third button, if I was to have the best of both worlds, I would go with HUION's button layout, but the XP Pen's weight and feel in the hand. In my opinion, however, they're both excellent, so you should be happy either way. As for pen pressure and performance, they both perform very well. That said, however, shortly after publishing my XP Pen review, I started having stylus button driver issues, where the eyedropper would, quote, stick, forcing me to have to either press harder or double press to accurately color pick. After a few back and forths with XP Pen, however, we managed to resolve the issue about 97%. However, there is the occasional hiccup from time to time, but nothing that's a deal breaker in my opinion. As for HUION, I haven't encountered any issues and actually feel that despite both pens toting a 16K sensitivity, HUION boasts having a 2 gram minimum actuation. I don't know if that factor played into my experience or not, but I did feel that HUION's pen did feel a bit more responsive when working gently, which does matter for subtle blending and or color picking. Again, I'm really nitpicking here, but I'm bringing it up because obviously it is something I noticed. Both tablets come with programmable Bluetooth accessories for keyboard shortcuts. HUION calls there the Key Dial Assistant, with 19 programmable buttons, as well as a dial that can toggle up to 3 separate functions using the button in the middle of the dial. XP Pen's, as far as I could find online, is called the ACK05 Wireless Shortcut Remote, and sports very similar functions, including a circular dial that can toggle between different functions, as well as 10 programmable buttons. That said, however, as I mentioned in my original review of the XP Pen Artist Pro 19 Gen 2, yes, these are viable shortcut accessories for artists. However, I don't feel that they offer enough convenience, either functionally or ergonomically, than your standard keyboard. In both cases, their buttons aren't marked or have an LCD display reminding you of what's what, which again, just makes the keyboard a far more convenient choice. As I've stated numerous times in the past as well, I'm a huge fan of the Tourbox lineup. Not sponsored. This includes the Neo, Lite, or Elite versions, as well as the new Elite Plus version coming very soon for the iPad. Expect a review on that coming very, very soon. Now, let's talk about software and drivers. Both XP Pen and HUION software have been very well refined over the years. They both have intuitive and well-designed interfaces that you'll get comfortable with in minutes. The design is nice on the eyes and intuitive. As for firmware, my experience with both situations have been great. However, both in the case of the HUION and XP Pen, I did experience significant enough hiccups that they're worth bringing up right now. I already explained the color picking issue earlier with the XP Pen stylus, so there's no need to repeat myself now. As for HUION, I didn't experience any driver issues with the pen or tablet. However, I did have a notable issue that's very much worth mentioning. I installed their beta software to activate the touch function on Mac computers, because at the moment their drivers to implement touch on Macs are still a work in progress. After installation, their stated turn on touch option was nowhere to be found as instructed, but it did corrupt something on my HUION that made it undetectable on either of my 2 Mac computers or my PC. Although the display itself turned on fine, any pin display features or pin detection was completely kaput. After going back and forth with HUION for over a week, we eventually agreed that it was time to send a replacement. As soon as I received the replacement and connected it to my computer, it immediately worked perfectly, no issue whatsoever. So yeah, I do not recommend trusting any beta softwares at the moment. Otherwise, both tablets worked fantastically in terms of the drawing experience. I experienced zero shoelacing or wobbly lines at all, with or without smoothing turned on, so they both get 2 enthusiastic thumbs up from me. Now, let's talk about connectivity. Both the XP Pen and HUION offer a range of connection options. This includes the well-known 3-in-1 cable or the USB-C option. The main advantage of the XP Pen Artist Pro 19 is that you can connect the display using only a single USB-C cable. You also have the option of connecting a second USB-C cable for added power, which allows you to increase the peak brightness of the display if you desire, but it's not necessary to get you up and running, and I generally don't find it necessary all the time. In the case of the HUION Kamvas Pro 19, if you go the USB-C route, then you'll need 2 of them, one to connect to your computer and the second to connect to power. That said, however, from all of my research, it appears that only the HUION has reverse charging, meaning that the USB-C that connects to your laptop also offers 40 watts of charging, allowing you to stay topped up, without having to bring an external power brick when working remotely. Lastly, let's talk price and value. Just for the price of the tablets alone, without any added accessories, the HUION Kamvas Pro 19 generally retails for approximately $10.99 US or $16.99 Canadian. At the time of this recording, however, there is a Black Friday sale where they're knocking the price of the HUION down to $879 US or $13.50 Canadian. So with a $400 price difference, what do you get? Well, let's start with what I feel are the advantages of the HUION. It has reverse charging, up to 40 watts. I feel that the build quality and design of the pen display is a little nicer and solid in the hand. I felt that the image quality, color uniformity, and sharpness was slightly better. I found the stylus to be a bit more responsive at lightest pressures. I personally preferred the third button express menu implementation than the roller button. As for the XP Pen, what value can we find there? I think an important plus for the XP Pen is the single USB-C implementation. That's really awesome. And lastly, the stylus feels a bit more substantial and grippy in the hand. So does all of this justify a $400 price difference? Well, if we take price out of the equation and I rate them based on their individual merit, then yes, the HUION does feel a bit more premium and drawing does feel a bit better. Do I feel it justifies a $400 price difference? Not really, no, but I do feel a slightly better experience, so there is added value there. If you take advantage of the Black Friday sale going on right now, then that might make your decision a whole lot easier. If you prioritize price and the designs are interchangeable, then go with the XP Pen. If those small but significant differences are worth the extra cost, then I have no problem recommending the HUION. Either way, you have my word, you'd definitely be satisfied with either tablet, and I can confidently recommend either one. What truly excites me, however, is that both XP Pen and HUION have matured significantly as companies over the years. Turn the clock back 10 years, and it would be far more hesitant recommending either brand due to reliability issues. But today, I feel far more confident recommending them and even implementing either one into my daily use, not only for their beautiful design and performance, but for their killer competitive prices. As I mentioned in my recent XP Pen Artist Pro 19 Gen 2 video, Wacom's competitor to this, their 22-inch 4K pen display, retails for over $4,000. That might have been a necessary price to pay for something more reliable back in the day, but Wacom has far closer competition these days, and I'm happy about that. That said, hopefully my review and comparison of the HUION Kamvas Pro 19 4K and the XP Pen Artist Pro 19 Gen 2 can help you make an informed purchase decision. I have several art tech reviews coming up soon, including the XP Pen Artist Pro 24 Gen 2, the ZenSlabs Pen Display 24, and the Tourbox Elite Plus for iPad coming very soon, so make sure to subscribe for that. With that said, thanks for watching everybody, and happy painting. Take care.